Well, for international reaction and how the online community is voicing their concerns, let's cross live to Rajesh Mirchandani, who's in the BBC's World newsroom. And Rajesh, what we've been saying is controversial, but it truly is, isn't it? And it hasn't stopped people from commenting about it.
No, you're right, Babita. And one of the great things about the revolution in communications technologies, I think we can all agree on, is that it is an enabler. Not only, as we have seen, does it allow governments to snoop in vastly more complicated ways on people, but it also allows us, ordinary citizens of the world, to connect and express our views. And that's what a lot of people have been doing, courtesy of social media. Talk a little bit about all these issues. I'm joined by two of my esteemed colleagues. On my right, we have Emily Buchanan, who we just heard in that report, my colleague from the World Affairs Unit, and we also have Samantha Barry, who is a social media producer here at the BBC. Sam, let's start with you. What are our audiences saying about this widening spying scandal?
Every time we put a spying story up on our social platforms, it gets hundreds and thousands of comments from around the world, a lot of them from North America and South America, but a lot in particular over the last weekend from Germany and Spain. And we actually have an image of some of the strands of conversations that come out of those stories. So people talking about security, about the Obama administration, about spying. One of the words on that image, that word cloud, is stupid, because there are, for those people on social media, three very distinctive groups of people that are commenting on this story. The first are saying it's stupid if you didn't think this was happening. How could you not think this was happening? Of course governments spy on not only their citizens but different other governments. The second group are very much hailing Edward Snowden as a hero. They're questioning the moral integrity of the Obama administration and questioning spying as a whole and asking for transparency amongst US governments and other governments. And then the third group that are commenting on social media are really delving into what they think is that this is a necessity, that governments, of course, they spy on people. They have all these surveillance operations because they need to protect the security of their country, and they're of the school of thought that if you've nothing to hide, you don't have to worry about the surveillance.
So a good range of opinions, as we like, nice, fair and balanced, as we like here at the BBC. Any one of those groups sort of emerging as the most vocal?
Probably not unsurprisingly on social media. The Snowden is a hero, Obama administration, looking at the US, and lots of conversations about whether the US is being a bully when it comes to their power in their surveillance world. So they're probably the most vocal on our platforms at the moment.
Almost a reflection on the people who are using social media. Emily, let's talk to you a little bit about time was, I don't think it was too long ago, in fact, that we used to think if something is stored on a computer, it's safer because there's no paper for people to snoop on or copy, but that's not really the case anymore, is it?
No, and I think what people have been shocked at about these revelations from the PRISM scheme, the gathering, the scooping up of these vast amounts of information, is the sheer scale of it. I think people thought that their personal emails and so on, probably nobody would be interested in them. They didn't realise that they were all being scooped up in this vast dragnet of information, which then governments can then, well, particularly the US, the UK, can then use search engines on to try and find information that they think is going to help them against terrorism or whatever. Okay,
guys, thank you very much. I want to just finish with a little story. If you think what we're looking at now is marvellous and incredibly difficult to comprehend, back in the 1950s and 60s, a guy who used to run the Intel company noticed that the size of microprocessors was doubling every 2 years. In other words, humans' computing capabilities were doubling every 2 years. It's called Moore's Law. It's remarkably consistent. It holds to this day. So everything that we are looking at now and thinking, wow, isn't that incredible? 2 years from now, it'll be old hat. Back to you, Babita.
Yeah, indeed. OK, Rajesh, thank you very much for that. Rajesh Mirchandani there in the World newsroom. Just want